Hello everyone, this is V and welcome to The Revolution Will Be Planned. This is my first video for this channel where I hope to be creating content around bullet journaling, personal finance, work-life balance, self-care, and my experiences as an online Master's in Social Work student. Today is December 30th and I'm sitting down to do my yearly review and reflection. Since I've started bullet journaling towards the end of 2017, I have done some sort of yearly review where I flip through my old planner or bullet journal. This year, I am doodling a year in Polaroids. In this spread, I have a Polaroid for each month where I will doodle a favorite or memorable moment for the month. I started off by sketching the outline of the Polaroids in pencil. I'm not the best at hand lettering, but at the top I wrote a year in Polaroids, and then I proceeded to outline the Polaroids using a Faber-Castell fine liner. I didn't use a ruler because I usually don't mind and actually prefer the imperfect hand-drawn look. I started off 2019 using a Panda planner, which was recommended to me by one of my coworkers. After bullet journaling for a little over a year, I felt like I needed a bit more structure, so I went with this planner, which has undated monthly and weekly spreads. Halfway through the year, I went back to bullet journaling because I needed more flexibility to finish off 2019. Honestly, there was so much that happened for me in 2019, and it was difficult to select just one event or memory for each month. As I doodle each Polaroid, I'll also review some other notable things that happened during that month. January was super busy for me at work. For the last few months of 2018, my coworkers and I were preparing for our presentation at a national summit in our field, and it occurred at the end of January. I learned so much from that experience and was very proud of our presentation. It really boosted my confidence in considering myself an expert in the field or experienced practitioner. For February, I chose to doodle my first experience at a Korean spa. Although February was nearly as busy as January, self-care was something that popped up a lot in my planner that month. After a big event I had been planning at work was over, I took a few days off to take some time for myself and had a spa day. I don't subscribe to the belief that spa and beauty treatments are the epitome of proper self-care, but they are fun ways to treat yourself if you have the time and resources. After this experience, I put spa treatments as a regular part of my annual budget so that I could go a few times a year. I think just in this year I went to the Korean spa 3 times. I forgot to mention that throughout the first few months of 2019, I had been applying to grad schools for a Master's in Social Work. I applied to 3 schools and got into all of them and received my first acceptance in March. I remember reading the email that I was accepted when I was at work. For the most part, I had been keeping my application process on the down low, but it was not necessarily a secret. After much consideration of schedule, finances, and other life factors, I decided to go with an online program, which I started later this year. During this filming, my phone storage ran out. Instead of waiting for the video to upload to continue my reflection, I just went ahead and continued while I was waiting for the video to upload. Okay, here we are back again. I've completed up to October. My April doodle had to be something from my vacation to Japan. This isn't quite a real place in Japan that I went to, but more of a bunch of Japanese symbols, a torii shrine, cherry blossoms, and Mount Fuji. I spent 10 days in Japan and traveled to a bunch of cities. We really put a lot of effort into planning the trip and itinerary, and it paid off. After this, I definitely wanted to travel more after spending a few years really disinterested in any sort of trips or excursions while I was in a mental and emotional rut. I also must mention that sometime between March and April, I moved from my 1-bedroom into a house with some friends. So when I came home from Japan, I started living in a completely different environment. Now on to May, which is unfortunately not on screen. Throughout all of the previous months, I had also been involved in planning a training and leadership retreat. I participated in this program in 2015 and was excited to reconnect on the planning committee. The doodle is from the first night's dinner, which after some weather-related issues ended up being served inside on the floor on bright red paper. It was difficult to select a doodle for June because I think I really took things slow. I tried to spend a lot of time outside in my garden. I attempted to grow a few vegetables, but most of them ended up dying. I got really into composting. In June, I had a moment where I felt as if I was in an emotional high point in my life. My favorite memory of July was going to see Carly Rae Jepsen with my sister. I had been wanting to experience more concerts the whole year, and this year also really got into some lesser-known pop artists. Fast forward to Carly Rae Jepsen being my Spotify Wrapped #1 artist of 2019. In August, I officially transitioned into a manager role at the organization where I had been working for about 2.5 years. This is when I started this bullet journal to mark my transition into a new phase of life. Just 2 days after I took on the position, I went on vacation with my family to visit my brother in Chicago. This is my attempt at doodling the architecture boat tour. September marked my official start as an online grad student. Here is a doodle of the many papers I had to read and write in the program. Overall, I find my experience studying social work so energizing and validating. I definitely feel like this is the career path for me. Honestly, October is a giant blur to me. What I do remember is that October 1st, my workplace moved into our brand new office, and it was all hands on deck to pack, move, and unpack. What's a nonprofit gotta do? This Thanksgiving was a different one for me. Instead of going home, I visited my sister who lives in LA. While we both had assignments to write over the long weekend, one of my favorite things we did was the hike to the Hollywood sign. And here we are to December. There were a lot of things going on at work that were challenging to navigate. Through these challenging moments, I turned to my bullet journal to help me organize my thoughts and feelings. Going into 2020, I am feeling a bit rough, but accepting of the challenges that lie before me. But compared to previous challenging times in my life, I've definitely grown in how I process and react to difficult situations. In 2019, I experienced so much in my personal life, such as traveling, and in my professional life through a promotion and starting grad school. I'm ready to take on this next decade with a clear vision and a strong set of values to wherever it takes me.